Appreciative Inquiry has been used by many organizations over the past 20 plus years, and here are just a few examples. You'll see it has spanned the gamut of for-profit, non-for-profit, and government agencies. Appreciative Inquiry comes out of academia and is grounded in research from a variety of fields. The most extensive is in the field of positive psychology, with people like Martin Seligman and Barbara Fredrickson, who have shown that positive emotions are essential for us to function well and think effectively. And sociology brought us the Pygmalion effect, which is the idea that people will rise up or down to match our expectations of them. So what we believe about others can have a big effect on what they accomplish. Then there are medical studies like the placebo effect, where some people will get physically better from taking a sugar pill thinking it is medicine. The idea is that our beliefs are a powerful factor in what we can achieve. Finally is the relatively new field of neuroscience, which is proving, among other things, that visualization is an effective and powerful tool for helping create what we want. This is just a small sample of supporting research, and the point is that the theory is well grounded. There are 4 key concepts you may hear when people talk about appreciative inquiry that I want to explain briefly. The positive core, the 5 principles, the 4D cycle, and AI summits. The first is the positive core. This is a central idea in appreciative inquiry that every organization has a positive core no matter how bleak things might look. It includes things like strengths, peak experiences, best practices, successes, and key learnings. When you focus on the positive core, you bring it to light. The second key concept is the 5 principles. There are 5 principles in appreciative inquiry that form the theoretical foundation. There is a lot to them, so much so that I've written 2 books about them. But in keeping with our high-level overview, here is a 1-sentence summary of each. First is the constructionist principle, and the idea here is that we construct stories together with our words about what happens in any given moment, and that becomes our reality. The poetic principle suggests that organizations and their stories are like poetry. We can interpret and find whatever we want. The good, the bad, it's all there, and whatever we focus on expands. The simultaneity principle says that change begins at the same time or simultaneously when we ask a question. So our questions are a powerful tool for change because they determine what direction we'll head and where we'll end up. The anticipatory principle states we create mental pictures of the future in our minds which influence what actually happens. We can use visualization to change these images and help create more of what we want in the future. Finally is the positive principle, which suggests that focusing on the positive core is energizing and engaging and creates positive momentum for change and upward spirals. So that's a very high-level overview of the principles. The third key concept is the 4D cycle. The 4D cycle is a process often used to, quote, do appreciative inquiry. And in fact, this process is used so much many incorrectly assume that the 4D model is appreciative inquiry, but it's not. It's just one process for applying it. At the heart of the 4D cycle is the positive core we discussed earlier, or all the strengths and positive attributes of the organization. The process begins with discovering or asking about the best of what is in the organization. It's typically done with interview questions about things like strengths, best practices, and peak experiences. The next phase is dreaming about the ideal future. This often involves asking questions about people's wishes or dreams for the future of the organization. The design phase follows next, which consists of synthesizing and discussing dreams and positive core attributes, and deciding what we want to change or do differently going forward. Finally is destiny, which is about making it happen or implementing the desired changes. And that takes you back to the beginning again at discovery. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about a 5D cycle, and that's referring to the same 4D cycle with one additional step in the beginning called define. This step is about creating an affirmative topic or setting an appreciative direction for the process. So that's a high-level overview of the 4D or 5D cycle. The last key concept you may hear about is the Appreciative Inquiry Summit. The summit process is essentially doing the 4D cycle we just talked about with the entire organization all together in 2 to 4 days. There can literally be hundreds or thousands of people asking about dreaming and designing the ideal future for the organization. It's a very powerful process that has been used with great results.